The commissioner's comments come on the same day that Philadelphia City Council passed a new police reform bill. It requires prospective police officers to live in the city for a full year prior to employment. If signed by the mayor, it will become law.
That bill is part of a series of police reform laws and policies that council and the mayor are considering, but not everyone agrees with changes in the residency requirement. Investigative reporter Claudia Vargas looks into where police officers come from and if that makes a difference on the streets.
Sandra Webb lives in the city's Hunting Park neighborhood. It has one of the highest violent crime rates in the city. Homicides, robberies, and assaults are commonplace. So is drug dealing, she says.
Why are y'all just hanging out on the corner?
The drug dealing and crime has been a problem since she moved to the neighborhood 40 years ago. She thinks that if police would engage with the youth in a positive way, maybe the neighborhood would improve.
I understand they don't have jobs, but if the police will come out and talk to them, give them some advice of what you can do besides hang on the corners, I think that would help.
Based on city payroll records, hardly any police officers live in the area, and those that patrol do so from a car. City council members voted 16-1 to mandate that anyone seeking city employment, including police, live in Philadelphia for at least 1 year prior. The bill goes to Mayor Kenney for final approval. In a prior hearing, council members said the bill is about providing family-sustaining jobs to Philadelphians.
By giving a leg up to Philadelphia residents when it comes to city jobs, we are doing a service to our citizenry.
Anti-violence activist Bill Al-Qayyum is happy that council is moving in that direction. He thinks that the law, if passed, could increase the diversity of the police force.
I'm for recruiting more and more minorities, or particularly blacks, to the police department. But I'm saying we have them here in the city of Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia is 46% of the population is African American.
Currently, the police department recruits candidates from anywhere in the country. If hired, officers, like other civil service city employees, have 6 months to move into the city. FOP President John McNesby says the current system works.
We're doing really well at African American colleges, universities, the military.
He says limiting police jobs to just city residents will negatively impact recruitment, especially of minority candidates.
They're just throwing things at the wall because they want to get their name on something.
The NBC 10 investigators reviewed the demographics of the most recent graduating class of new police officers. Just over half of the 57 recruits were from Philadelphia. Several were from the suburbs, and some came as far as Florida and Chicago. Of that class, 69% are white, 18% are black, and 12% are Hispanic. Robert Kane, head of Drexel's criminology department, says there isn't research to show the effects of restricting recruitment to city limits.
I think what they're going to find is it's going to limit their applicant pool to a huge extent.
That is an argument the Kenney administration has made. But during a city council hearing last week, Councilwoman Parker took issue with that reasoning.
Then we need to better educate and train our constituency. Then that's on Philadelphia. That's on us as a city, and we need to work with that to get done.
Back and forth.
Back in Hunting Park, Sandra Webb thinks recruiting from within the city is a good thing, but believes there needs to be more social interaction between residents and officers before that can happen.
If we had the police officers, you know, mingling with the neighborhoods and everything, maybe that would encourage some of the younger ones to want to join the police force. But now, I don't think so.
Do you think there's a big disconnect between the young folks and the cops?
Yes.
Is there a lot of tension, or what's the situation in this neighborhood?
It's a lot of tension. Disconnect.
The new residency rule would apply not just to police officers, but all civil service jobs. Coming up tonight at 11, we'll take a look at where veteran officers live and whether it makes a difference in curbing crime. For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.
Philadelphia officers are allowed to live outside of the city after 5 years on the job, but critics say that has contributed to a disconnect between police and the community they serve. Investigative reporter Claudia Vargas takes a look at whether where police officers live makes an impact when it comes to crime.
If there's ever a disturbance on her block, Karen Pierman says she knows just which neighbor to call.
Do I feel safer with cops on my block? 100%.
Pierman Street is in the far northeast section of the city. It is within a zip code that is home to more than 500 Philly PD officers. The FOP Lodge is just 2 miles away.
I truly back the blue. I'm 100% for the police.
The far northeast was where many cops settled when they were all required to live in the city. But 10 years ago, the police union successfully negotiated that the rules be relaxed. After 5 years on the force, officers may live outside of the city limits. FOP President John McNesby says the officers wanted the flexibility of selecting a different school district.
Mostly it's the schooling systems. Most people want to move to a bigger house for less money, bigger land. I mean, it's all the common things that most people want during their life.
The NBC 10 investigators reviewed city payroll to see where officers live. More than 20% of officers now live in the suburbs. Many chose towns just over the border in Bucks County. John McNesby is not looking to reverse that trend.
People are getting tired of the city. It's not safe. The lack of leadership, it's terrible. There's no backbone. There's no support for the officers out there.
Bilal Qayyum is a member of the Mayor's Police Advisory Commission and an anti-violence activist. He and other advocates are pushing for the city to eliminate the 5 years and you can leave rule.
If you want to be an employee of the city of Philadelphia, you should live in Philadelphia, because then you show your commitment and your dedication to this city.
He says that having police officers live in city neighborhoods could help reduce crime or at least serve as a deterrent.
And I live on this block, people know I'm a police officer. People on this block's going to act different and behave different.
Criminologist Robert Kane studied community policing in North Philadelphia in the late 1990s. He found that residents did not actually want police living there.
The cops are kind of seen as getting up in their business and they don't like it.
Kane also says that there is no evidence to suggest a direct correlation between where police live and low crime.
It appears that police will practice kind of extra guardianship of the local area because they live there. Whether that reduces crime or not is another story. We don't quite know.
We looked at violent crime data for the last 3 years. The zip code, which includes Hunting Park and Nicetown, Tioga, had the highest number of violent crimes, more than 2,700. That area has about 30 police officers who live there. The far northeast had less than 200 violent crimes in those 3 years, and it has more than 500 police officers who live there. But in between those two, the statistics varied greatly. For example, the zip code with the third highest number of violent crimes has more than 100 police officers living there. Longtime residents like Sandra Webb, who live in high-crime neighborhoods, say they wish there was more positive interaction between police and residents.
I don't hardly see police around here, no more than in their car, cruising by, but as far as getting out, walking, talking to the neighbors, no.
Do you think if they were from the neighborhood that would change?
Yes.
The 5-year residency waivers also apply to firefighters and sheriff deputies. Mayor Kenny says he wants to do away with the waivers, but the only way to do it is through labor bargaining or arbitration. The city's 4 labor contracts are up for renegotiation next year. For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.